How's it going, everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be going over the 3 best methods to level your territory standing quickly so you can start taking advantage of those territory reward perks. But before we get into that, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. For starters, if you're not sure what territory standing is, it determines your territory levels, and by ranking higher in each territory in New World, you get tons of great perks, like increased experience, gathering speeds, storage space, the ability to purchase higher tier houses in that zone, and much more. However, it's quite a grind to get your territory levels up, and it can be a bit of a gold sink if done in certain ways. So in this video, I'm going to be going over 3 amazing methods that will get your levels up very quickly, and some of them can even see you making a profit depending on the item prices in your server. Now, a few quick disclaimers. For all 3 methods, you're going to want to make sure you have a territory standing music buff up, which will increase your standing gain by 30%. You simply need to 4-star any song, on any difficulty. It's very easy, and some songs are less than 40 seconds, so it can be done very quick, or you can have someone else do it for you if you prefer. You also are going to want to have a territory standing booster token active while doing these methods to maximize efficiency. If you've been playing through the season passes, you should have a few, or you can purchase them in the New World store. But these will double the XP for 2 hours, so in this time, along with the music buff, you should always be getting 130% extra experience, which is massive, especially for the more gold sinking methods. Now that you're all buffed up and ready to climb to level 300 in every territory, I'll go over 3 helpful tips that'll be getting you some easy free experience before getting into the methods. For starters, town board missions are easy free ways of getting territory standing, so whenever I'm in a city and see one of these boards, I like to check it out and grab any of the easy ones, like kill set amount of animals, and then, when I'm going into a territory grind process, I like to save up all of my finished ones and claim them all once I'm buffed up on the XP boosters. Following the same trend, paying housing tax will get you massive amounts of standing, so if you know you're going to be grinding standing soon, hold off on paying your taxes until you're buffed up, and quickly pay all 3 houses off before getting into your grind method. This will be getting you tons of free XP. And finally, throughout a long grind process, it's good to stop every few crafts and assign your territory level rewards. Like for example, if you're going to craft 10,000 of a certain item, do it in chunks of 2,000, backing out, choosing your territory level rewards, and then going back to another 2,000 crafts. This is because the couple extra % gain you'll be getting from those rewards will help out a ton in the long run. Now that that's all out of the way, let's get into method number 1. The first method we're going to be going over is probably the easiest method and fastest leveler in most servers, and that's the Ash Stain method. Basically, you're going to want to be making thousands of Ash Stain, and this in return will get you tons of territory standing. What's nice about this method is that it only requires 2 things, pure solvent and charcoal, both of which are heavily farmed items, so they will never get too crazy in price, like some of the items in the other methods. In most servers, you can pick up pure solvent for 0.01 gold on the trade post, even if you use the buy now feature. If not though, simply set up buy orders and buy as much as you need for as cheap as possible. Then, when it comes to getting charcoal, you'll have multiple methods of obtaining it. You can simply set up buy orders for it like with a solvent, or you can buy green wood to produce it. Or, my favorite way is by buying wooden coins, which I will convert into charcoal at a smelter. Purchasing green wood is only really worth it if they sell for significantly less than charcoal in your server, because it takes 2 of them to produce 1 charcoal. You can however gain additional charcoal from this process if you have smelting gear and buffs on. I can usually get green wood in my server for 0.08 gold per. If you simply buy the charcoal yourself, it usually costs 0.16 gold per. The reason I like the wooden coin method the most is because you can convert each one into 10 charcoal, and then, if I have my full set of smelting gear on, I will also get tons of additional charcoal in this process. Not only do I get free smelting experience by converting these wooden coins into charcoal, but I also get aptitude crates from leveling my smelting, which can earn me a bit of extra gold on the side. I can usually pick up wooden coins on my server for 1.33 gold per. For me, in my server, the wooden coin method is by far the best and cheapest bet, but check the trade posts in your server and make your decision based on which is the best bang for your buck. But if you want to be really cost effective, you can even just throw on some woodcutting gear with some buffs and go chop down trees, converting them to charcoal for this method. That will make the process almost cost free. Now that you have all the required resources, you're going to want to make sure you have your 130% territory standing buff, like you'll be doing with every method, and then you're going to head on over to a workshop and start crafting ash stains. Don't worry about going for any of the higher tier stains when doing this method, because either one you do, you'll still only be getting 35 territory standing per craft, if you have all the experience bonuses active. Another great part about this method is that you'll be leveling your furnishing up, so if you ever want to decorate your house, you'll be high enough level to build what you need. This is still going to take a tremendous amount of gold to max out all of your territories, but like previously stated, leveling standing is usually a gold dump. but this is a great way to cheaply turn your gold into territory levels, while leveling your furnishing at the same time. At the end of one of these grinds, you'll find yourself with lots of territory levels, but also tons of ash stain. If you have the patience for it, you can try to sell it on the trade post and get a little bit back for it, but you'll most likely not be able to get more than 0.01 coins per, and it takes up a lot of weight, so make the call if that's worth doing for you, or if it's just better to drop all of the ash stain you make. For me, in my server, when I create 500 ash stains, it's converted into 5,000 because of the 10 times multiplier, and in the process, I gain 25,607 territory standing, along with 7,349 furnishing experience. That's all for a cost of 485.5 gold, if using the wooden coin method. So you'll also be getting some smelting XP as well. If you have the patience to try and sell all the ash stain, you could maybe get another 50 coins back off of the initial investment. Overall, that's pretty good value for the gold in my opinion, especially when you're 200 in smelting and furnishing, and you can start getting aptitude crates that will bring down the costs even further. It'll be a gold sink in the long run, but it's a quick and easy way to get those territory levels up fast, and level a few skill lines in the meantime. The next method we're going to be looking at is the Arcana method, and this one, if done right, you can even see yourself making a bit of a profit. What you want to do in this method is make Alkaheist, and then, after that, turn them into regeneration potions to make back some of your gold, or even make a profit. The first step of making Alkaheist is pretty great alone for gaining territory standing, and to do it, you just need to collect or purchase Hyssop, water, and Azoth water. Ideally, you want to have your Arcana level at 153 so you can do the whole process, so if you're not at that point already, just get there. There's tons of great guides on YouTube to quickly get you to that level. In the meantime, get your buy orders in for the 3 ingredients. Water is such an easy resource to get. You can usually get it for 0.01 coins on the market in most servers. Azoth water is where the process gets expensive though, being worth 5.3 gold per in my server. And Hyssop isn't too bad considering it's a pretty easy to farm resource. I can get one for 0.85 gold per in my server. But a great trick that can sometimes save you money is to check the prices of aloe gel or poppy seeds, because they can be used as a Hyssop alternative, and not many people have caught on to that. So in my server, I can get poppy seeds for 0.52 gold per, and aloe gel for 0.58 per. That will save you so much gold in the long run, so always check prices before you begin. Then, once you have your resources bought, begin making your infused Alkaheist. Make sure you have all of your territory standing boosters up, and if you do, you should be making 130 territory standing per craft, which is massive. Based on server prices, some people might want to stop at this point and just sell their Alkaheist to make their money back, which isn't a bad plan. In my server, I could sell each infused Alkaheist for 5.38 gold. So let's look at how much profit or loss will be made for 500 crafts. It would take me 5,255 gold to purchase what I need to make 500, if I use the cheapest materials I can find. Because of the chance for bonus items, after I crafted these Alkaheists, I ended up with 570 potions, selling them at 5.38 per. That will leave me with 3,067 gold, meaning I would have lost 2,188 gold in this process, but I would have gained a whopping 65,489 territory standing and 125,999 Arcana experience, which is pretty worth it in my opinion. And if you're level 200 in Arcana, the aptitude crates you'd receive for this experience would go a long way to covering those losses. But if you want to take it one step further, you're going to want to head over and turn in your Alkaheist into a tier 5 infused regeneration potion, which usually sells for the most of any of the potions. If it's not like that in your server, you can turn it into other potions. For me, I can sell one of these regen potions for 5.3 gold per, and the process of creating them gets you an additional 42 territory standing per craft. What you need, other than the Alkaheist, to make these potions varies, so you're going to want to go price check again. But I found in my server, for the medicinal regents, Gillflower Gills tended to be the cheapest, coming in at 0.65 gold per, with glowing mushroom caps and bulrush cobs being a good alternative. For the life regent, Tanglewisp came in the cheapest at 0.49 gold per, but most of the items in this category were relatively cheap. And then finally, for the spirit regent, this is where the bulk of your spending is going to come from. Bumble Blossom tends to be the cheapest of the lot at 1.1 gold per, but most of the possible resources are around the same price, so find the cheapest one you can. A quick tip is to even price check the blue and green tiered ingredients, because most people assume they would cost more so they don't look into them, but I found a lot of the green tiered ingredients were often cheaper than the basic ingredients. Now, let's look at what you can stand to gain or lose from 500 regen potions. Including paying for the Alkaheist, it would take me 2,675 gold to gain enough resources to make 500 potions. After creating them, in addition to the bonus potions, I was left with 614 potions, which I could sell for 5.3 gold each, for a total of 3,254 gold. That's a profit of 579 gold. Not even taking into account, I got 21,868 territory standing and a whopping 1,323,000 Arcana experience. Plus, if you're 200 Arcana already, those aptitude crate rewards will only add tons of extra gold on top of that. When completing the whole process in full, it's really a phenomenal method because you have the process of making the infused Alkahest, which is great for territory standing, but a bit slower in Arcana experience. But then, when you turn the Alkahest into regeneration potions, you gain tons of Arcana experience with a bit less territory standing. Plus, you get a turn of profit. And when you consider every time you craft Alkahest, you get bonus items, and then when you craft the regen potions, you get more bonus items, the snowball effect occurs, and you can really stand to make some decent money. Of course, it's cheaper to just skip the first process and buy the Alkahest, and only go through the process of converting it into regen potions, but I believe the added step of creating the Alkahest is worth that little bit of a loss of profit in the long run. But make the decision on how you go about this method based on item prices in your server, because if Azoth water is cheaper for you, you might be able to make way more of a profit if doing the whole process. And finally, we have method number 3, the cooking method. This will get you tons of territory standing while leveling your cooking skill line at the same time. Plus, if prices favor you in your server, you can even break even or make a bit of a profit off of these methods. Like with every other method, you're going to want to have your territory standing buff and tokens up. And then, when it comes to what items you want to start stockpiling, it depends on which way you want to go about things. For starters, the easiest and most basic way will be bulk crafting travel rations and energizing travel rations. To determine which you do, check the trade posts to see which sells for the most, so you can make some or all of your money back. When fully buffed up, you will be getting 5 territory standing per craft. You're going to want to go after the 2 cheapest ingredients to make these rations. In most servers, one of them will most likely be red meat, which I could get tons of for 0.01 coins per via buy orders. For the second ingredient, the cheapest I can do is usually fish fillet for around 0.10 coins per. That would mean I'm making 5 territory standing per 0.11 coins I spend. Plus I'm able to sell my rations back on the trade post for 0.7 coins per, and with my chef outfit on, I make additional meals quite frequently, causing the cost of this method to be very minimal. In order to buy the ingredients for 500 rations, it cost me 56.53 gold. From there, I can cook them, and with the bonuses, I get 681 rations. They can be sold for 47.67 gold, meaning it only cost me 8.86 gold to craft these 681 rations, and in this process, I gained 5,250 cooking experience and 3,637 territory standing. In my eyes, that's really good value for money, but again, you're going to want to check the prices of all the possible items you can use to craft these rations and go for the cheapest ones you can find. It also helps to check the markets often. Tons of times I go to buy red meat and see it's up for 0.08 coins per, when the very next day it's back down to 0.01. So check the markets often and buy in bulk when the price is right, and you can really minimize the costs of leveling your standing. And always buy via buy orders to keep costs as low as possible. If you pick up all your ingredients at the right times, you can even make a profit off of this method. The next cooking method is pretty much exactly the same as the previous, but instead, you're moving on to hearty meals and energizing hearty meals. Like with the previous method, you're going to go for which you can sell for the most on the market to reduce costs, but this time, you'll be earning 15 territory standing per craft. Unlike before, there's no chance of crafting additional meals with these, but because they sell for a bit more, if you're smart with your buy orders, you can keep spending at a minimum. You will go through the same process as before, and look for the cheapest ingredients possible. Then, set up your buy orders, and get to cooking. For me and my server, when it comes to the tier 5 raw food, I find prime red meat to usually be the cheapest, around 0.16 coins per. Then you need to find 3 of the cheapest raw ingredients. For me, I found milk, red meat, mushrooms, pasta, sausage, fish fillet, and cactus flesh, all to be cheaper options, but go through the list and see what's the best in your server. And then, finally, you need to pick a seasoning. So go through the same process again. For me, saffron, dill, oregano, parsley, and rosemary are all very good options. With all 5 ingredients, you're good to go. For 500 hearty meals, it cost me 184.41 gold in ingredients. Once cooked, I can sell the meals for 0.29 gold per, bringing me in 136.1 gold. But in that process, I also gained 9,095 territory standing and a whopping 354,374 cooking experience. And that's only at a cost of 48.31 gold. If you take into account the items I got from the aptitude crates and opened from this process, I'd say you'd even be walking away with a slight profit. So I highly recommend this method over the previous if you're already at 200 cooking. If you can buy smartly and get your ingredients at a good buy order price, you can see yourself making millions of territory standing and maybe even making a bit of a profit along the journey. But if prices are all jacked up in your server, maybe the ration method is a better bet for you, or the Arcana method, or the Ashstain method. Whichever you go for should be determined by how the markets look and which secondary skill line you want to be leveling up in the process. But that covers the 3 best methods to level up your territory standing quickly in New World. As you do these, you'll find yourself getting territory levels very fast. Just make sure to use them on good rewards. There's lots of great videos on YouTube that will go over some of the better perks to look out for and which to avoid. I tend to always try to go for bonus territory standing, or if not, added storage space. And for the zones in which I have houses, the added housing item limit is nice. And I keep one zone in which I try to get the trade post taxes as low as possible, in which I would do all my buying and selling in, and in another zone with the lowest possible crafting tax fees, in which I would do all my crafting in. When it comes to which method I go for, I usually change up between the 3, based on market prices. I keep a list of all the items I need for every method, and I check the markets every few days to see if I can pick up any of them cheaply, and put my buy orders in. And whenever I have a large enough amount of materials to do any of the methods, I get boosted up and grind away. My favorite method, overall, will be the Arcana method, because I tend to make good money off of it, but sometimes prices don't favor that method, so I'll switch over to another one until the prices drop back down. But let me know which method is your favorite, and some tips and tricks you use to level up your territory standing. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like on it, and subscribe to the channel. It all helps out massively. But until next time, have a good one. Thanks for watching another video. If you'd like to see more New World content, then click on any of the videos on screen now. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.